Josh, we'll take a look at that. All right, welcome again, everybody. How you doing? Joe here, and I'm wearing my awesome Freedom Soft t-shirt as I'm recording this. Next week, we're going to be doing a brand new 100 offer challenge, and I'm going to be doing this live with the guys at Freedom Soft. It's going to be epic. We're going to show you how to make offers. Bottom line, if you're not making offers, you're not making money. And your speed to income is directly proportional to the number of offers that you make. Let me say it again. Your speed to income is directly proportional to the number of offers that you make. So starting next week, if you're on my email list, you'll be getting notifications about it. But I'm doing a challenge with the guys at FreedomSoft on how to make 100 offers. And we're going to challenge you to actually make 100 offers in 5 days. And it's going to be really easy when we show you the tools. It's free, by the way. It's free. And you can follow along with us in the free challenge if you want, using FreedomSoft for just $1 trial. So all the content is free. The instruction is free. But if you want to follow along using FreedomSoft, you can sign up for a $1 30-day trial when you sign up. There'll be an option for that as well. So that's what this call is about. I do this live every week. It's called Deals, 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 and I'm going to review your deals that you've submitted for me to look at. Now, 2 deals were given in advance here, and I'm going to pull those up as I try to get my voice back. And excuse me, Joshua Fernandez gave me a couple deals here. One is in Fort Worth, and the other one is 0.25 acres. Another one is 3 acres in Marion County, Florida, I think. Okay, so we'll check these out here. Let me first open this one, and then I'm going to come on here, copy, and then I'm going to open up. I got so many windows. Where'd it go? Okay, I might have to do this again. Let me go new tab. Let me bring this over here to right there. I'm just going to shrink some of these windows that I have up. Sometimes you got to just shrink all the extra junk. You know what I'm saying? Let me go here. Let me update this. All right, we're good. Let me push this up here. So I just want to make sure you guys see my screen and all that. We're all good. Okay, this is a property in Tarrant County, Texas, and in Fort Worth. So I'm going to put it here in the Google Maps. Google. Oh, I've looked at this. I think I've looked at this deal before. Yes, Joshua. You submitted this deal 2 hours ago, but I could swear I may be wrong, but I've looked at this one before. Yes, I did. I remember this culvert, this drainage creek ditch area right here. Huh. So if you're in Inner Circle, by the way, and where I have that up right here, I was just looking at it. Nope. I closed them all. I closed all those windows. Let me just log in right here, and I'm going to show you how to look at this deal. Maybe you gave me some more information here. I'm looking at the details. Let me open up the membership site. I don't see any new details that you sent me. So if you're Inner Circle, if you go here to community calls and you go to deals, deals, deals right here, previous calls. Right here. On that call from July 30th, I interviewed this I reviewed this particular property right there. Cool. All right. And by the way, Josh, are you here right now on Zoom? Yeah, Josh, just type in the chat. Did you see that? Okay. All right, good. Here's another one from Josh as well. This is in Marion County, Florida, and this is Anthony. Let me just I'm gonna copy this address. Okay, so let's put it right here. That looks like a vacant lot to me, right? Yes. Oh, one of the things I'm looking at here is road access. Looks like it does. And is it paved? Doesn't look like it. So it's one of the first questions I'm going to ask the seller when I'm talking to them. Hey, is that road's paved, isn't it? Oh, it's not? Oh man, okay. I'm going to drag my yellow dude around here to see what's going on here with the neighborhood. All right. This looks like a good area. Now, also, you can see there's a road, looks like on Google Maps right there, but it's kind of covered with trees. So I'm going to drag my street view guy there and kind of look. So it is a road, maybe. Looks like more like a driveway. Not sure. Okay. So this is we need to get some more information about this property. Apparently it's 3 acres. Let's look it up on ID.land. Create new map, Florida. If you don't have land ID, you should get it. I'm going to paste the address. Normally I look properties up by zip code. Oh, interesting. What is going on here? Isn't this interesting? So this guy, Shane and Beal, owns this property. You see? And then Burgess Dooley owns this property. So this is the main road. This must be like, if you click on this, James A. Jones owns that property. Whoa. Okay, look at this. I've never seen this before. So James A. Jones owns this slot. Angela owns that slot. Shane owns that slot. You see what I'm doing here? Okay, interesting. I wonder if this is part of an HOA. Maybe it's not, but this is a property we're looking at, and it's 3 acres. Okay. So since it's Florida, I care about wetlands and floodplains. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go to overlays. First, let's look at base map. Sometimes I like looking at different satellite views. You can kind of see what is going on. One of the things I'm going to ask the seller when I'm talking to them is, has the property been cleared? Is it all trees? Because that can be a negative. What could be another negative, quote unquote, on this property? You've got all these driveways coming in and around next to your property, right? So I'm going to ask them about that. What could be another negative? I don't know. I'm just looking here at the satellite view. Can you see, are there any other properties with a bunch of junk in the yard? This actually looks pretty nice, like a nice area. But I'm definitely going to ask about what's going on with these driveways and stuff like that. Okay. Now let's look at floodplains. So I'm going to click the X. I'm going to go to overlays. I'm going to go down to FEMA floodplain. Is this going to be another question I'm going to ask them? Yep. Am I too worried about it? Not really, because look, there's still structures built. Here you see these structures and stuff built. But it's definitely a concern. It could be a concern. It's going to make it harder to sell your property, maybe. Okay, so I clicked on FEMA floodplain and wetlands, and you can see this is something I'm going to be concerned about. At least when I talk to the seller, again, I'm going to say, I don't think I'm your buyer. It looks like this property is half in floodplains, wetlands. I mean, how am I going to, 2/3 of the property is not even usable. So I don't think I'm your buyer. Let me just ask you some more questions about it. What's your situation? Why are you selling this thing? Why don't you just list it with a realtor? So, it looks like a nice property, great area. What, why do you even want to sell it? So you want to get the seller to give you a number first. And I'm going to ask questions about things like this and ask them and tell them, say, hey, boy, I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work. What's the least you could take? I probably can't do that. Can you do any cheaper? How negotiable are you on your price? You're not in a hurry to sell this thing. So I'm just asking a lot of questions. Because again, when you sell this property, you're going to have to disclose this. The buyer's going to look. You don't want it to be a surprise, which means you're going to maybe have to discount this property, sell it a little cheaper. Now it's still usable, so whoever builds on this is only going to be able to build right here. Probably not going to be able to build back here, but maybe that's not a big deal. The land's probably always dry. It's just when it rains a lot or during hurricanes, it kind of floods a little bit back there. But it's going to make it a little harder maybe to get insurance. And again, you can see some neighbors have built in this area, but it's just something you need to know. And it's a great negotiating piece of negotiating tactic when you're dealing with the sellers. All right. So I have an address for this property. It's right here. I'm just going to copy because I want to look this property up on Redfin. Okay. Because I want to look at comps. What are similar properties selling for in the area? And also I'm going to open up my offer worksheet. This bad boy right here. By the way, if you're watching this on the YouTubes and you want this offer spreadsheet, just type in offer sheet in the YouTube comments and I'll send it to you. Okay. All right. So when we make our offers, we're looking at comps. We're looking at active and pending comps and sold comps. All right. And I want to get the average price per acres. So we're looking at this property. Let me switch to map here. Our property is kind of right there in the center of this map. I'm going to start zooming out. Now I'm going to look at, first we're going to look at active for sales and pendings. And we want land only. I'm going to start zooming out. By the way, there was another property that was for sale there. Did you see that? That wasn't just land. Sometimes it's good to look at, well, what else is selling in that area so you can get an idea. And if you see kind of in that subdivision community there, what else is for sale, you want to look that up. But you can just get a feel for this is kind of what's selling out there if there's a structure on it. The seller might tell you they want $200,000 for their vacant lot. And you can say, well, why would I want to pay you $200,000 for your vacant lot when I can buy this one right here that's 0.69 acres smaller, but it has a house on it? Or I can buy this that's just a little bit smaller with a 3-bed and 2-bath house on it. Like these are the kinds of things you can talk to them about. Here's 3 acres. Yeah. So they want 200 grand. Ask them why. That doesn't make sense because you zoom out and you see these other comps and you see there's a property with an actual house on it. All right, but let's look at land only. Oops. Land only. And I'm going to do minimum 1 acre, no max. Let's just see what we get. I need to zoom out. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make my filters a little bigger. I'm going to do 1/2 acre. I'm going to sort from high to low because I'm going to delete some of these huge ones here, right? In fact, let's do maximum acreage 10. You don't want too tight of a restriction. Let's zoom out again. Now, I want to emphasize too, all of this stuff I'm doing, the less you know about the property, the better when you're first calling that seller. You want to call them and not know much about the property at all because you want to ask them a bunch of questions. All right, so let's sort this from low to high. There's 0.7, 0.52, 0.51 acres. So, should I do minimum 1 acre? Drops me down to 11 comps from. All right, we'll do minimum one. Now I have 11 comps here. If I want more, zoom out one more time. Now I got 45 comps. Okay. I'm good with that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that Redfin scraper, and I know you can't see it here, but there is a Chrome extension called Pebble, and I'll show you kind of a screenshot of what it looks like. But I'm going to bring down the let's bring them all down, and then I'm going to remove the big outliers, and I'll show you what I'm looking at here in just a second. So I'm removing anything over 20 grand an acre. Okay. Ah, I didn't do it. Dang it. Hold on here. I'm kind of playing with this thing here. Do. Okay, so doing what I just did, I'm going to screenshot this so you'll see what I'm looking at here. Because for some reason, this pop-up doesn't show. All right, this is what I just did. So there's this Pebble Chrome extension right here, and it scrapes everything on the right-hand side, and it gives me the median and the average price per acre. And I just use whatever number is less. So I'm going to use the 19737 number. 19737. Our property was 3 acres, right? Yep, 3 acres. All right, so based on actives and pendings, and I discount actives and pendings 15%, it might be worth about 50,329. Maybe. Let's look at solds next, okay? So now I'm going to click solds. Let's go back the past year. I want as many cheap comps as possible. Now I've got too many, there's 50, so I'm just going to zoom in. 16. All right. Sometimes, you can zoom in to see even because there's some really good comps that are close by there. So I'm going to put more weight on these, except I'm going to sort from high to low. And I don't want these comps here. They're just too expensive. So I'm going to eliminate anything above 100 grand. So now I'm only looking at properties under 100 grand. My other filter is 1 to 10 acres. Okay, so if I want more, I can zoom out. Now I've got 9 comps. That's good. This isn't a science, it's an art. I'm going to do that Pebble scraper again. And I'll screenshot again what I see here so you can see it. Paste. All right, so it scraped all of those solds on the right. I have 21,821 or 25,291. I'm going to go with the median, the lower one, 21,821. 21,821. 21,821. All right, so based on actives and pendings, it might be worth about 50,000. Based on solds, it might be worth 65,000. So now I need to decide. Normally, I just go with the lower number. So if I listed it for $50,000, maybe I'll list it right underneath that $50,000 mark. What just happened here? I just did something. Okay. So I might just list it for 49,950. Get it right underneath that 50,000. So what's my competition? This is where you need to put yourself in the mind of the buyer. What is my buyer thinking when they're looking at land in this area? So if I'm going to list mine for 49,950, let's look at what else is for sale in the area. Come on. For sale, pending. All right. Well, this is 3 acres currently for sale for 35,000, even though it's way up here. So, okay. Why would somebody want to buy my 3 acres for 49,950 when they can buy this one for 35 grand? Doesn't sound like a good deal to me. But let's look at this one. Been on the market for 90 days. It's close right off the highway. Is that good or bad? I don't know. It's a usable portion. Portion of the property is in a flood zone, just like yours is, but plenty of buildable area. They're asking 11,667 an acre, and I'm trying to sell mine for 16,000. So I'm looking at this thinking, yeah, you know what? I'm going to need to be cheaper than that, aren't I? This one's currently selling for 16,000 an acre and it's pending. So, yeah, I'm thinking right now I need to make sure mine is the cheapest one out there. So let me close this, close that. Here we go. So I need to make sure mine's cheaper than this guy. So I'm going to list mine. I want to be aggressive. I want to price mine where it sells quickly in 1 or 2 months. I want to price it really, really aggressively. So part of me is thinking maybe I should list it for 29,950. I'll probably sell it really quick if it's listed for 29. Let's look at solds again real quick. This one is right up there. This one sold for 19,000 an acre. Well, that's the current Redfin estimate. That sold for 14,400 an acre. So again, I'm thinking again, because of the competition, if I'm looking at actives, I got to be cheaper than this one. So I'm going to list mine for 29,950. I want to make at least $10,000 profit. I want to pay a realtor 10%. I want to have a little oops factor. I can get closing costs for under $1,000 in Florida. I have 500 photos. So I'm going to offer about 14 grand for this deal. Now I know, Josh, that was way less than what you thought. You thought you could sell this property for 120 grand. Now, I'm not knocking you, but how did you come up with that number? If I zoom out, why would somebody want to pay you 120 when they can buy this 5 acre for 35, this 3 acres for 43, 3 acres for 35? You got to zoom out and think about these bigger properties again. They can buy this 10 acre one for 85 grand, even though there's a road going through it. And if I remove this upper price limit, actually, let's sort this by lot size. Here's an 8 acres for 110. Why would they want to buy your 3 acre for 120 when they can buy this 8 acres for 110? That's what I'm trying to show you here, right? So zoom out, look at what your competitors are doing. You want to make sure yours is the cheapest there. So when they're looking at your lot, they're like crapping their pants. I know it's gross, sorry, but they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this property $29,950. I'm not even looking at these other ones. That's a great deal. I'm going to make an offer. You want to sell yours quickly in 1 or 2 months. So that's why I'm pricing it aggressively. Does that make sense, Josh? I know you're on the Zoom. It doesn't matter if it's in the same zip code or not. Because what if your property is right on the edge of one zip code and the other property is like on the edge of the other zip code? Okay, so 120 grand is the asking price, Josh is saying. I'm looking at his notes here. So they're asking, I thought you offered. Okay, so I get it. You're doing comps based on zip code, but this is why I like doing it on Redfin, right? I'm going to pull this property up. I'm going to put it in the center of my map, which is properties right there. And I'm just going to start zooming out until I get enough comps. I don't care about zip code. I don't care if it's in another state. I don't care if it's in another county. Somebody who's looking for land in this area, they might be looking for zip, but I don't, I just want to be the cheapest property in the area. So I'm zooming out, looking at this. Why would somebody want to buy mine for this when they can buy this other property? So if let's say the seller's asking 120, which I think is what you said, right? Again, I'm saying to them, I don't think I'm your buyer. Why would I want to pay you 120 when there's this other properties for sale right now, even though it's pending. That's 5 acres. Yours is 3. It's 5.6 acres, and they're asking 90. And if I zoom out again, you can go here and do more filters. This is when you're talking to the sellers. You need to ask them these questions. Let's do minimum 2 acres. Why would I want to pay you 120 for a 3 acre when I can buy this 108 acres for 110? So they, then you can do a price per acre thing too. So you can see, all right. So if they're wanting 120,000 divided by 3, so they're asking $40,000 an acre, right? They're asking 40,000 an acre. Look at this property here. They're asking 11,700 an acre. Here they're asking 13,750 an acre. This one 25,000 an acre. So you get what I'm saying here, right? You need to ask the seller these questions. Why would I want to buy your property when I can buy all of these? Then you want to look at solds in the last year. And you want to go through this. There's a property that had a barn on it that what they were asking, whatever, you have to figure out the sale price here, but 81 divided by 3.15. What did I say here? 81,500 divided by, they were asking 873 an acre. By the way, somebody there is a Chrome extension out there that gives you the average price per acre. Have any of you guys seen that? If you're on Zoom chat. Is there, okay, I'm just curious because there is a Chrome extension price per acre. It's not Pebble does it, I know, but there's another one. Is it the Land Insights Toolkit? Ah, this is it. Okay, these are from the App Geek brothers, I think. Okay, this is cool. Check this out. If you go to Google Chrome Store and just do a search for Land Insights Toolkit, it's free. I'm going to add it to my Chrome. I was playing with this earlier, and it's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to make sure it's active. I'm going to pin it. So I pinned it right there, okay? In Chrome extension. I'm going to go back here to Redfin. I'm going to refresh this page. Let me close all these others here. Okay, look what this cool extension does. Unfortunately, puts this big banner up here, but it gives you the price per acres right there for these individual properties. Is that cool? Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then the same if you go to actives, pendings, gives you that price per acre. Okay, that'll save you a lot of time. And in addition, then you can still do that Pebble Chrome extension scraper right here and get your average and median price per acres. And to turn that thing off, yeah, you just have to, unfortunately, you're always going to see this banner up here. It's a pretty good idea to have for advertising. Landinsights.co. Oh, it's not the Apke brothers. It's that guy. I had him on my podcast. I forget his name. Smart guy. But he does a lot of high-end coaching. Okay, cool. Back here to the chat. Zomps. Yes, you can do Zomps. I don't know if Zomps, Rick, will do it for land. And thanks, Eva, for putting that link in there. Okay. Josh put in a couple different addresses here. Let's look this one up. I'll share my screen again. All right, this is 12290 Northwest 7th Place in Ocala, Florida. Let's see where this is. Right there. Let's look at satellite. All right. Let's drag the yellow dude around. See if we can see what this area looks like. Wow, these pictures were taken in 2007. You can see the date on the lower right. Paved. It's not a paved road, it looks like. Old houses. All right, anyway. Let's look it up on Land ID. I think this is it. Let's zoom in. 141. No, it's not it. Let's copy this address. Maybe it is it. 12290 Northwest 7th. This is Northeast 47th. It keeps on moving me there. Why is it doing that? Well, let's do this. I'm going to click on this property right here, and it gives me a different address. I'm going to put that address in. Oh, you know what? That is the property. Because see this little thing right there? That little building right there? All right, so it's this lot right here. It's not that. All right, so this is it right here. All right, here we are in Land ID. I have those overlays on, wetlands, FEMA floodplain, and you can see part of the property is in some kind of wetland, and it's 3 acres. So I'm going to copy this property address right here, and let's put it in Redfin. Let's zoom in. All right, that's the lot. Cool. Let's do for sale and pendings. Let's look at it's land only. Cool. And let's look at our filters for lot size. Let's do 1 to 10 acres. Let's zoom out. And let's sort from high to low because I'm going to remove the big $3 million lots. So let's do max price and just move this over to right there. All right, I have 7 comps. Let's do low to high. Okay, let's do that pebble scraper. I'm going to remove some of the big outliers. And I have 36,192 is the average price per acre. 36,192. And again, our property here is 3 acres. And now let's look at solds in the last year. I want all the cheapest comps I can get. There's 15, sort from low to high. Look at this one, sold for 17,045 an acre. All right, let's do that pebble scraper. And I have 32,785 solds. All right, so based on actives, it might be worth 92. Based on solds, it might be worth 98,000. So let's say I list it for 89,950. That is 29, about 30,000 an acre. If I list it for 89,000, 30,000, how does $30,000 an acre look and compare to everything else out here right now? Well, it's more expensive than this one, but this one's in kind of some kind of industrial thing. It's cheaper than this one, cheaper than that one, cheaper than these. So I kind of like it. Now this one is 28,000 an acre, and it's real close to mine. All right, so this is interesting, right? They're asking here 28.49 an acre. They're asking 49,50,000 an acre. Maybe I should offer 27,000 an acre. Which would mean maybe I should sell it for 81,000. If I listed it for 81,000 an acre, no, $81,000, which would be 27,000 an acre. I feel pretty good about selling that quickly, don't you? That'd be cheaper than this one. I look at solds past year. This one sold for 17,000 an acre, 38,000 an acre, 36. Yeah, this is pretty cool. This price per acre isn't that cool on the screen there? So again, what do I need to be at? I feel pretty good about 27,000 acres. I'm going to list it for, you know what? I want to get mine right underneath that $80,000 mark. I'm going to list mine for 79,550. I want to make at least on this deal, I want to make at least $15,000 profit. I'll pay a realtor 8% commissions on that. I'll have a little oops factor of a couple thousand to 2,000 bucks. Let's do 1,500. All right. So now I got an offer for 54,000. Now, general rule of thumb, you don't want to be over 50%. So I want to offer about 40 grand on this, but I might offer 48 grand because I'm getting a little bit higher, but this is where, again, you make the seller come up with a number first. And I would probably, my first offer would be 40,000. 40 grand. And I'm going to try to sell it for 79,500. Make sense? I'm going to do something here. Price per acre. Cut, paste. Was that times that. Okay, hang on. Equals if that equals nothing, then do never mind. I'm going to call this goal. So this is kind of just a for my own use here of like, yeah, what kind of goal would I want it to be at? And then try to, so if I want to be at 20 grand an acre, can I get away with 23 grand an acre? That's kind of what I'm doing there, what I'm trying to do. So if again, I'm looking here at the solds and I want to be at, I want to be at 20,000 an acre. So I would write down 20,000 an acre right there, which means then I would make the list price 60,000. That's kind of what I'm trying to do there. Okay, cool. The next deal that the seller wanted $100,000. Okay, that's nice. And I can understand why, right? If you were to ask a seller, hey, do you want $100,000 or $30,000? What do you think they'll say? I want $100,000. Every seller is going to want full price. They're going to want to sell it quickly in 7 days. They want all cash, no contingencies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is why you can only do deals with motivated sellers. And when you're talking to sellers, you need to ask them again and again. Like, and you want to play the reluctant buyer. I'm asking them about their situation. What's going on? Why do you need to sell this property? In fact, let's just review real quick here the seller script, because this is important. When you're talking about what do you offer the sellers, you got to know that it's only going to be one out of every 30, 50, 100 offers that gets accepted. We're not going to give the sellers the price they want. You're not a retail buyer. You are an investment buyer, and you need to be the reluctant investment buyer. So we're asking the sellers these questions. I don't care about the property as much as I do about their situation, what's going on, what's their story. So, okay, hey, I got your voicemail about this property. Yeah, do you mind? Do you have a few minutes? Did I catch you at a bad time? Okay, cool. So tell me, what's your situation? What's going on? I got this property. I want to sell it. Okay, cool. So you got a property. You want to sell it quickly. Okay, good. Yeah. How quickly do you want to sell it? So what's your situation? What would you like to see happen? And when would you like to see happen? Those are the three main questions as you go through this. So you're the reluctant buyer. You want to get the seller to convince you, why should you want to buy their property? 90% of sellers are not going to be motivated. You can only do deals with motivated sellers, right? And so I say things like, I'm probably not your buyer. I'm not a retail buyer. If you want full retail price, you should just list it with a realtor. But if you want the easy button, you want cash and you want to close in 30 days, I can probably help you, maybe. But let me ask you some more questions about the property, okay? So this is kind of like where I go, where I'm setting the agenda. Hey, I'm looking to buy some vacant land in the area. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions to see if this is something that I would be interested in? Cool. Okay. Okay, great. What is your situation? What's going on? You see what I'm doing there? Honestly, I don't know. And this is, again, not a word for word script. This is just kind of some questions that you can think about asking sellers as you're talking to them. Honestly, I'm not sure I'm your buyer, but do you have a few minutes you can tell me about the property? What's your situation? Okay, cool. So I'm going to ask you some questions about the property after our call, do some research and send you an offer. Is that okay? Cool. You confirm their confirm property info, road access, flood zone, perk test, survey, HOA, taxes current. Are you the owner? Is it listed with the realtor? Have you gotten any other offers? You have any other lots you're looking to sell? Is there anything else about the property I need to know? So here's now, I'm not saying again, you don't have to ask all these questions, but it's just kind of like what you're doing here. Then you're now getting into the questions to determine their motivation. Remember, you're the reluctant buyer. You got to get them to give you a price first. Sounds like a nice property. Why would you even want to sell it? What would you like to see happen? When would you like to see? We already talked about that. You're not in a hurry to sell this property, right? When were you hoping to be able to sell it? Is this a now thing or a later thing for you? What's more important, to sell it quickly or to sell it for the highest price possible? Why don't you just list it with an agent? They can get you the best price. Okay, so what do you think the property's worth? How'd you arrive at that number? Do you think that's a fair price for this crazy market? What are you going to do if you can't sell it for that price? If they won't give you a number, hey, I'm sorry. If you can't give me a number, I'm probably not your guy. And if you like, I can give you 5 realtors who can help sell your property and give you an opinion of what it's worth. I'm not chasing them. The harder you chase sellers, the faster they'll run. When they do give you a number, long pause, disappointed. Is that the best you can do? Okay, what about like, and you're talking about these things you're looking at, it's not paved, the road's not paved, you've not done a perk test, there's no utilities on the property, it's in an HOA, you've not done a survey, it's sloped, it's in wetland. I need to cut a road, I need to clear out some overgrowth, the neighbor's got junk all over, I have to bring utilities to the lot, et cetera, et cetera. Can you go any lower? Is that the best you can do? All right, listen, I'm going to go do some due diligence. If after I do some more due diligence and I come and I find other properties that are cheaper than yours, and then this price that you gave me here, how negotiable is your price? Okay. So those are just some simple questions. Maybe I need to simplify this into like a one-page thing. But I just wanted to show you kind of like when you're talking to sellers, of course, they're going to want full price for it. You're not unless you're a realtor, you're not a full price buyer, but you're the easy button. Let me look at the chat here. What if you're texting? Okay, you don't want to get into a text conversation with sellers. You can never determine motivation by texting. You want to get them on the phone, you want to talk to them. That's really important. Get them on the phone and talk to them. You can't determine motivation. You can't establish the know, like, and trust factor. Definitely, if it's texting, it's more transactional. And you can certainly do that. I've done lots of deals where it's just by text. But you're gonna have to understand you have to make a lot more offers to get one accepted. If it's just text, you're going to do more deals if you talk to them on the phone. You might go from 1 out of 50 offers if it's just texting to 1 out of 20 if you're actually having that conversation with them. So I encourage everybody to talk to these sellers. Use this script I'm giving you here. Don't put that kind of a script in a text conversation. It does not work. But if you can't talk to them, if you're bad English, if you want VAs to do all of this for you and you don't want to outsource the calling and talking to sellers to VAs, then yeah, do this by text. And send them an offer as soon as possible. Okay, there was another deal here from Josh in Anthony, Florida. Let's look this up here. Didn't we just look at this one? Yeah, we just looked at this one already. Okay. Any other questions? Let me go here to see if there's any comments here. Any questions in this chat? Yes, you're right, Greg. They bought easements. So, Greg, you're asking some good questions there, but I think I've already answered them. If I didn't, just type in a new question and I'll help you there. Any other questions? What do you do when you're talking to a realtor and the property is way overpriced? You know, that's a real good question. A couple things here I want to show you. If you go to my YouTube channel, Joe McCall, you go to videos, and you go to this one right here, Watch Me Call Realtors Live. Just go to YouTube, Joe McCall, right? Watch Me Call Realtors Live. It's this one right here. If it ever opens up. Okay. In that video, ignore the ads. You'll actually get my realtor script. Okay. So watch this video because I am actually calling seller a realtor right here. What if you're looking at a property? Let's look at this area in Ocala. And let's switch this to actives. And we're looking at land only. And I'm going to remove the minimum lot size acreage, minimum max. And I'm going to go to time on Redfin longer than 90 days. And I want to go to price reduced in the last 30 days. I'm going to start zooming out. All right, here's 12 properties that have been on the market over 3 months, have had their price reduced in the last 30 days. I'm going to call these realtors, right? And this is really important. So let's say we're looking at this property right here. Let's look at this map just so I can kind of see it. So I don't know, it was centered on this road, but it's one of these vacant lots around here. Okay. And you know what? Let me text my wife real quick because my daughter. I need to find out if she needs me to take my daughter to volleyball practice. Okay. So back to this lot. I don't know exactly where it is, although it's right, it says right there, and there's some pictures here. But why hasn't this property sold yet? Because it's overpriced, and maybe it's too close to this big road. I don't know. But even if it um, is close to that road, it hasn't sold yet because it's overpriced. It's been on the market 114 days. And if I go to sale tax history, you can see the price history on this. Aha. All right, somebody bought it for 19 grand and they're trying to sell it for 27 and they just dropped their price to 25.9. And so they overpaid the property for the property and they're trying to flip it. And they're not going to be making any money on this thing after realtor commissions and closing costs. All right. So obviously I'm going to need to have to buy it a lot less than what they bought it for in February of 24, right? Now, do I care how much they paid for it? No, I don't care at all. So if I scroll up here, they're asking, well, $3 a square foot. That doesn't, I don't care about square foot. Let's click here on this map, new search. That property's right in the center. I'm going to do this and that, looking at pendings, looking at home type, land only. Okay, they're land only. And I'm sorting from, does it sort by price per square foot? That's price per building square foot. All right. Price low to high. So this realtor is trying to sell this property right now for $112,000 an acre. What's, look at this property right here. They're trying, what? They're selling this one for $96,000 an acre. This one for $17,000 an acre. This one for $83,000 an acre. I know why it hasn't sold yet. They're asking way too much. So when I'm on the phone with them, I'm asking them, well, I'm trying to figure out, I'm sure your property is nicer, but there's a bigger property right down the street. Yours is, how many acres is this one again? It's about 0.23 acres. 10,019 divided by 43,560. It's about 0.23 acres, okay? 0.23 acres. Oh, they got it right there. 112 grand an acre. This seller is asking 96 grand an acre. So I'm asking the realtor, why would I want to pay 112,000 an acre when I can buy this one for $96,000 an acre? And I'm going to zoom out more. This one's 54,000 an acre. If I want more cheaper ones, I zoom out. Looking at pendings also, right? This one's 80,000 an acre. This one's 79,000, 76, 80, 75. It could also be, I can buy this property that's bigger for 20 grand. When you're talking to that agent, you're also looking at solds in the last year. And you're zooming in, zoom out. It's sorting from low to high. Why would I want to pay, whatever it was, 35 grand? It's 25,900. When somebody bought this property for 8,900, this one for 9,500, this one for 9,700, 10,000. I'm looking at, yeah, this isn't going to work. How negotiable is your client on their price? This probably isn't going to work for me, but if I was going to make an offer, I would probably need to be in this price range, $9,000-$10,000. That's probably not going to work, is it? No? Okay, fine. I get it. No problem. Listen, do you have any other off-market properties that I could buy? I don't have an agent representing me. I'll pay 10% commissions on any off-market properties. Do you know of anything? So that's when I'm talking to these realtors. That's when I'm talking to them about, asking them about these other properties here that are currently on the market that haven't, either haven't sold yet, that are cheaper, or have sold that are cheaper, asking them, how negotiable is their seller on their price? Can I at least email you an offer? Can I at least email you my contact information? So if they change their mind, you can represent me, get both sides of the commission. Maybe you can find another off-market property and you sell it to me, or you bring it to me. I can pay you 10% commissions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's why it's really important to get kind of used to and familiar with Redfin. So when you're talking to these sellers, you can navigate through this stuff and look at actives and solds and just ask a lot of questions when you're talking to the sellers and agents. All right, Debbie's asking here, so when comping, the 2 mile radius doesn't really apply to land like it is for houses. Yeah. So with houses, you've got a lot more comps. It's easier to comp houses. So you can zoom out a half a mile. Maybe 1 mile is too much. But when you're doing land, you might need to zoom out 5, 10 miles. I just go in Redfin, I put my property in the center, and I keep on zooming out until I get a good number of comps. What's a good number? I don't know, 10, 20. And if I have too many, I zoom in. If I don't have enough, I zoom out. Or I change my filters, tighten my restrictions and things like that. Okay, cool. Let's wrap this up. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.